I remember my first encounter with the Webhead, not being from the movies or any of the video games, but from reruns of the 1967 cartoon show on Spiderman and His Amazing Friends. I was just a kid at that time, but I quickly grew to like him, from his innate charm to his witty humor, and more importantly, of how down to earth he was compared to other heroes of the time. As time went on and I got older, I actually forgot about his existence until 2002, when the first Raimi movie was released. A bit ridiculous now. But at the time, that movie reignited my liking of the character and made it evolve into me full on loving him. And this love would continue as I ventured into reading the comics and watched the other movies. But what took my love even further were, of course, the video games. I'm sure for a majority of you watching, your first Spider-Man game was the Neversoft game on PS1 and its sequel. For me, however, the Spider-Man movie PS2 game was my first player-controlled Spider-Man adventure, and it blew my mind. The opening cutscene will forever be in my memory. I did somewhat feel like Spider-Man playing it and going through the story, but it left me wanting for something that this game just couldn't provide. That thing was freedom. Freedom to swing around New York like I truly am your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And Ultimate Spider-Man gave it to me and more. It introduced me to the Ultimate Universe and was my first experience with the single storyline. I sat there on the floor playing for hours and staring at awe when characters from the wider Marvel Universe would make appearances. I also loved that you played as Venom and gave the story a great sense of duality and contrast. But the game was too short. With the devs knowing this, they spread out story missions behind stopping a set amount of crimes and such. So even after all Ultimate Spider-Man gave me, I still craved more. I wanted a deeper and longer story with less busy work, some that would make me stop crying because I wanted to, not because I had to. Even Web of Shadows, I wouldn't get what I wanted fully. I love and appreciate this game because it set a benchmark in Spider-Man games in terms of traversal and combat. It introduced the web strike, and every game going forward has had it. I see what they were going for with the moral choices, but all in all it didn't blend with me too much. New York was a scene with war zone, crimes and same civilians were ignorable to me, it just couldn't make me care. Other than the web strike, the combat didn't grip me. After Web of Shadows, I wanted future Spider-Man games to take this formula and expand on it. But sadly for a while, Spidey left the open world and went back to the linear roots. But it wasn't all bad because Spider-Man Shared Dimensions was a great game. And Edge of Time is alright, I guess. While Shared Dimensions had a lot of what makes Spider-Man, or in this game's case Spider-Man, its linear nature took away from that friendly neighborhood vibe that makes Spider-Man stand out. Both the
100% no.
And it's
Hell no.
Which brings us to Spider-Man PS4, or as it's officially titled, Marvel Spider-Man. The team at Insomniac loves this character as much as the next fan. You can see and hear it whenever the creative director, Brian Interhar, talks about the game. That love and that passion is a great indicator that this game would be handled much differently than the one before it. It's focused on both Peter and Spider-Man and the duality between them. Being able to play as Mary Jane to get a whole new perspective on a wall crawler, it sounds too good to be true. But it's reality. With combat that blends together so seamlessly with traversal mechanics and new traversal mechanics, this game is just a dream come true. With it being Marvel's New York and Insomniac's own universe, they can tell and show us so many things from a fresh point of view. With his own universe and own suit, Spider-Man is ready to leave his mark on history, yet again. Hey guys, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it. I'm beyond excited right now since we're only one day away from launch. I'll be doing a midnight launch stream, so if you're interested, subscribe and click the bell so you'll know when I'm live. So now to you, my spectacular audience, I must ask, why do you love Spider-Man? And why are you excited for the game? Let me know in the comments, I'll do my best to read all of them. Here's my good friend Kemikun sharing his love for the character. Till then guys, see you later.
So this is why I love Spider-Man, right? As a kid, right, I remember the first time I got introduced to Spider-Man was like in Trinidad, right? They brought in like 3 different Marvel cartoons. One was Spider-Man, the animated series, one was Iron Man, and the last one was Fantastic Four. And out of the 3 of them, the one I loved the most was Spider-Man because I'm a nerd, right? And seeing a nerd who's a superhero is like the coolest thing ever because I had self-esteem issues. And getting to see this guy who's a nerd and he's a superhero and he's saving people, like that shit like motivated me to like hold on because I was like a really troubled child who used to get bullied all the time. And one of my favorite quotes is like, with great power comes great responsibility. If it wasn't for that quote, I promise you I would have like come to school with a knife or bring someone into school with a gun and just shoot everyone up because I used to get picked on all the time. And like when I saw him, and it's like, just because you have the power to do something, that doesn't mean you should. And like, he always stick to my head, and he like created this whole character that I am right now. And oh my God, like, I love him so much. And when I grew up, right, I ended up watching the series again. And what made Spider-Man Peter Parker like the most amazing characters ever is that he's just like most of us. Like, he's like the average human. Like, he has to work dead-end jobs that's not paying him enough to live. And he has to take care of his family while still doing the superhero business. Like, there's no superhero who's like that. Like, if they are, I probably can't remember right now, but I've never, he's like the first and the only one I ever remember seeing like this. And like, even though people give Spider-Man 3 and The Amazing Spider-Man 2 a lot of slack, I still appreciated the movies because it's Spider-Man. Like, I grew up with this character. I read the comics. I even played some of the video games, like on my 3DS and stuff, and oh my God, like, Spider-Man is the most amazing character ever. If it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't be the person that I am right now, and this is why I love Spider-Man.
Rated T for teen.